はい、お願いします。Okay. And everybody sit easy on this one if you like. I mean, you get the option if you want to say that, and that's also good, if you want. Okay. Sometimes the meditation becomes my knees hurt, my back is stiff, my back is stiff. It's not much of a meditation. Okay, we're ready? Okay. Okay, stand up and you put this so we don't trip over it. Okay, and just spread out a bit. Why don't we make the line here, because again, we're recording it. And, okay. So, I noticed, when I watch the replays of it, it's kind of like it's just I'm making a presentation, nobody can see it. So, okay. Vibration, sound, silence, without the silence, you just get lost in the sound. On the other hand, sometimes I drift into silence. So, but motion. We're going to play an imagine feel game. Okay, for example, we have a series of chimes. Your motion creates sound. Okay, and obviously, there's no, I think there. So I'm saying imagine feel. Imagine feel. Imagine feel. Okay? In other words, I'm thinking about it, trying to look for it. Is it going on? It's going on in, let's just say, another dimension. Okay? Which is ever present. So to hit that other dimension, sometimes the only thing you can do is imagine feel it. Einstein got a lot of his stuff through his imagination. He created thought experiments. Yeah. Now, for example, if we were to go this way, this in a field of chimes. Turn. And your motion is creating sound. Now, we've done enough. Go the other way with the other side of your body. Okay, good. And that motion can run up and down. It's just see, there's movement in the exercise class. That's it. Get exercise. But there's this finer dimension. If I hang out with that finer dimension, then another dimension of me starts to appear within me. And within that field of chimes, for example, I'm starting to get a circle. I can only go here, but the ripple effect goes around. And conversely, it comes back to the front. So we get the circle. So if we were in this finer dimension, motion creates sound. The sound has a shape to it. That shape of that sound provides a template for what we call the energy to flow. Here we're using a kind of I'll call it more like, the spiral staircase up and the spiral staircase down. Okay? And it's almost like the earth and the ground has a song or vibration as well. Am I imagining it? Yes, but it's an imagined feel. Yeah. And that ripple in the field of chimes creates shapes for energy to move. I'm going to move physically. Oh, good. What's your physical motion? I have to let go a little bit and say, okay, I'm going to do this at a very limited, tight level. And of course, my waist is turning, not just my arms. I don't know. There's nothing going on here. In fact, if you want to do good Tai Chi, you're also in this state. So here I am in a very dense world with kind of a stupid level of myself thinking stupid thoughts. But this other dimension is going on at all times. But when I listen to the noise up here, I get heavier and denser. It's here. Easy. a wave rising and falling. You see that vibration is the template for energy to start to move. Good. Now, for example, I can't do much because I got all this high-tech equipment on. Okay, now I'm going to exercise. No, we're in a field of chimes, okay? And of course, that keeps the chimes going that way. The chimes going that way. So we can take any movement, keep going, back and forth. Any movement, keep going. I'll keep talking. I can't do too much with this crazy equipment on. Yeah. Now pause for a bit. I'm checking my physical body. It feels looser and freer. A lot of the thoughts I carry up here are worries, you know, reactions to what's out there. So since they called it misogi, I'm going to clean all that up. That's hard. But if there's something, there's another level that already is somewhat clearer. To get into imagine, feel, I got to suspend this heavy state. Okay, so keep going back and forward, back and forward. And the ripples of the chimes continues out and it continues back. Yeah, keep going. It's like dominoes. And there's a motion back. But your movement creates sound vibration. And the sound vibration that you create provides a pathway for heat or energy to kind of move. Okay, now we do the thing with the bell. We're not doing anything, but we are breathing, aren't we? Your breath. Creates vibration sound. You're not doing anything other than just sitting, except you are breathing, aren't you? There's an out and a back. The yin and the yang, the fire, water. You go this way, there's a heaven and an earth, earth and heaven. There's a motion, vibration, energy. Really, the vibration and the energy are two aspects of the same thing. But we get too caught up in the motion, we get exercise, and we get a little bit of education. You know, since they studied nature, you know, water evaporating, going up, forming clouds, all of a sudden you get some rain. You get some rain, isn't that cool? Natural cycle. Okay, we're caught down here in all this craziness, you know, mind stress and everything. Some meditation, some breathing, some Aikido training descends. And then that enlightenment descends here. And just pause a bit, and that you can start to tune into that through your breathing. Now, the thing I noticed with the breathing is and so all of a sudden you realize you have a heartbeat, don't you? What does a heartbeat do? Circulates the blood, creates motion. If the heart beats, rhythm stops, we're in trouble. It's almost like your breath, of course, is like, but your heart beating. Little movements can create big waves. I'm sitting here, my mind is kind of clear for a second. My shoulders are relaxed. This creates stress, and it creates conflict out there. So when Osensei was talking about Misogi, he might have saying, look, freeze underneath the waterfall. You might either quit or you might let go. And find another finer, deeper, finer, more original level of yourself. Now, okay, he grabs, okay, and this is the heavy world out there, but more I let go, the more fully, like the dominoes, you touch one, they go, da, 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 da. Now the dominoes are going mythologically all the way to heaven, right? But the heavy world is going on. So we do the breathing, the motion. Stretch for your partner. Ease emotion. I react here, all this noise starts. Easy, easy, easy. Okay? So let's start out, one person seated, the other person standing. Imagine, feel, play. Serious. Yeah, kind of is the only way it's serious because, I get too caught up in the heaviness of it. I get some exercise. Okay. You just see up and down. You just feel what it's like. He's part of the times now, moving. But the vibrational system draws energy into the system that he and I create. The I-Ki starts to happen. Okay? So let's, one person seated, the other person standing. Let's go. This is an important one, now those sense that, it's all by old sense that it's so easy, but I can't give it to you. So I mean, the thing about Nado Sensei, you look at those sensei, I mean, he went to the Kodokan, and he went to JKA, Japan Karate Association. He thought he was going to do training there and the other ones. And they said, I think I can get really good in the other two. And I see the instructors and they're really good. And maybe I could bridge the gap between me now and them now, but essentially I can't figure out. I think he's doing something that really, in a lot of ways, is just hard to. Well, he's doing something that's hard to figure out. What's he doing? He's not, pounding people into the economy. He's not throwing 1,000 kicks a day. He just kind of chants and swings the stick in spirals, and he talks about mythological gods and goddesses. And how's he doing that? So, it's but also saying sister Misogi, right? Okay. My mind is too tense and creating a heavy interaction. Okay. All right? So it's still, when I'm kind of in that more vibrational state, my mind's clear. Oh, wind chimes. What's this creating? A wave shape for energy to come in. How's that old man doing that? Right? I mean, that was Nado's question. How's he doing that? All he does is he plays and he, And he talks about gods and goddesses, these unagi, these unamis. All right. Let's just do that. Right? You know, so I know we could play a little bit with that. Because I know Sensei was into sound and breath. Okay? All right? Okay. Yeah, one of the things about that too, just in terms of this, it's like you push from the top. If you go in here, you get entangled.
Yeah.
You know what happens? You know, there's a really stupid world out there, and I start to get worried and stressed about everything out there. And then, you know, this noise pulls me into that heaviness. All right. Okay. Please. Huh. It's a little easier. If you go this way, you get caught up, you know. What if Trump wins in 2024? We're in trouble. Because 2024 hasn't happened yet. And if people kind of woke up, it wouldn't happen, right? Right? So, I mean, you know, it's a funny thing right there, you know? Okay? Right? Okay. So let's line up over here. So this gets recorded. We don't mess it up. Up, everybody up. Okay. We'll work down here. The earth has a sound, a vibration. What if the right side and the left side, they have a commonality, a unity or harmony with each other? What if your breath going out and your breath going in, they activate these chimes? Kind of more in an orchestra or an ensemble. That's your bass beat. Okay. This is your Miles Davis, Chet Baker soloist. But you got a piano setting the chord structure too, and they solo too, and the bass solos and the drummer gets. But what if you were that jazz ensemble with a bass rhythm? Maybe you get two grades. You get Charlie Parker and you get Chet Baker, and they just solo back and forth. Last night we got Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. They had a ball against the best team in the league. All right? Woo! And as good as the Celtics are, and will be, last night they couldn't match the Warrior championship vibe. Okay? Warriors are older, smaller, more decrepit, but they have this vibe. Okay? Now here, there's this beat, this vibration. If we're playing it, we're kind of in a field of wind chimes. It's just this up-down motion. If I do this, I'm in that dense world, and you know, I get it sometimes, but with the Celtics. No, the problem with the Warriors, they fall asleep a lot. Why? Because they're champions. They did it. Okay. They don't bring their A game anymore to every game. They're not proving anything. Celtics is like, we're going to clean the Warriors out. They're playing like crap. Not last night. Because once you know where that vibe is, you can access it. Call that the championship level. This is Charlie Parker and Chet Baker playing together. Charlie Parker, Miles Davis playing together. Oh. Sensei was into a lot of what he called the kototama, which is kind of the vibrational structure of the universe. Okay? Why? Because we get so caught up in dense. Easy. What if this were just at your fingertips? accessible, that, I would say the championship level of yourself. Last night, the Warriors made it look pretty easy. I was shocked. No, I'm a fan. I'm going to put up with this massacre tonight. And all of a sudden, it's like, wow. Okay. And there's a harmony between the up and the down. It's like a heartbeat. So you notice things as you hang out with a vibration. See, I want to flow, but I'm too dense. My mind's too cluttered. I play a game that I'm in a field of chimes, and my motion creates sound, and it creates shapes within that sound and that field. And that's where key comes in. I mean, there's a certain amount of key, but when my mind is too busy and negative, all it does is go into that and makes the world more what it is, okay? So it's almost like you have to play a game in order to go from that level that's kind of hot to what I would call maybe the more championship level of things, okay? So now here, standing, we can have more of what we call, now there are shapes within that field, and now there's two participants in that field. So you'll always have a center and you'll have a circle. Now, all of a sudden I'm in the world of weight, but on the other hand, I'm the Warriors playing like total crap, but there's that championship level and we're cool with it. Okay. Okay. So let's change partners. Got it? Heavy, dense. My mind, however, creates that with these negative thoughts and I'm going to try to out heavy him. Otherwise, we're just getting exercise. There's something else going on here. Okay, let's keep the partner that we have. Yeah, and we'll just kind of switch to the standing, which is more the center to circle, circle to center. Okay. Okay. Don't look at yourself. Feel yourself in interaction here. Okay. I'm looking at myself too much. I get too caught up. Well, how's it going to work out? I don't know. I mean, I like to think of it this way. I'm Stephen Curry. Is it going to go in from 30 feet? I don't know, but it usually does. You see what I mean? That's a championship level. So is it going to go in? Probably not. I'm going to throw it up there. It's going to hang up there in the rafters. It's going to go in and the crowd's going to go crazy. This action creates sound. Or depending on who you're rooting for. Okay, so go. Come on. I would open the fingers a little bit more. And if you go this way, there's after a while you get concentrated. You start to hang out, we're just saying this field of wind sounds, and you realize those pretty sounds. But the sound creates space in that field. And in that the shape to the field, that's where key comes in. Now there's key here, it's just dense and it's conflicting. Okay. If I'm like this, Essentially, you see him a lot like this. He's a religious man. Yes, he was. He said, I am very religious, but I'm not teaching religion. I'm teaching spiritual science. Heaven and earth are connected through, all right? So, easy. What's that? My mind's too occupied with that. I'm too worried. I'm looking out there. Easy. You Stephen Curry, you throw it up from 35 feet. It might go in. Usually does. Most people are too afraid to do it. Or I'll try it, and then the coach yanks him and says, "You stupid idiot." But with Curry, the coach is not going to yank him because it's like, oh my gosh, it's like a haiku poem. It's a work of art. Whoa. Okay, so go. Come on. Yes, you say, it's easy. Why is it easy? All my key is getting tied up in this dense confrontation out there now. You say that feeling a little bit right there? That's the misogi. Now you're not stupid. Yeah, there's this world that needs attention. Okay. All right? A little bit, like the docents would like to say, this is a Aikido of the old man. This is my version of a Aikido of Aikido. You see what I mean? Yeah. Okay, it's fun. Yeah. Okay, now one of the things right there. See, as you sort of hang out, we're just saying, it's like a field of chimes. You go like this, you create sound. It's a great sound. A little better job, and we create sound. In fact, the more non-attached I am, the better the movement is. Too attached. Easy. Non-attachment is being very easy because you are in this field of chimes. You move, you create sound. As you're better, it's created from a distance. I mean, since it was the best at that. Yeah, play at it a little bit. Okay, go ahead. The earth is calling him. Not in a negative way. Right here. And he's going to send look at the heaven right there. All that blueprint you create, as you start to create the vibration, you realize there are shapes. And those shapes allow key to come in. When we want key to come in, what happens? It can't come in, or it comes into our thoughts, which are negative, and this heavy, dense world. I never get what I want. I'll change something here. Okay? So, easy is non-attachment. What are those things they said? We talked about emptiness a lot. She said, what is emptiness? It's non-attachment. Once you attach to what's going to happen, easy. All right, there, we just created a wave vibration, right? A wave vibration. Or here we create like a spiral. I'm in a wave. I mean, it's not that was even worried about the technique. There's just more in that field. Realize his motion created sound shapes within the field, okay? And then key would move according to those sound shapes. And if he's in the field with me, then he's going to move. Key will move him as opposed to Kototama principle. Mystical sounds. Yeah, that's too tough. But if we realize motion, sound, vibration, The sensei was creating his own reality of beauty and harmony right here in this stupid world. Okay. He said anybody could do it. Told him the dose sensei, it's so easy, but I can't give it to you. Okay. Okay. Anyway, let's we're changing just because again the video, this is about the third year that we're doing this, and what happens is I realize that we line up there, which is of course the showman, so I think it's okay. All right. I'm not getting bad vibes from the showman, so I think it's all right. Okay. And so one of the things, again, Nado Sensei said he went to Japan. He was going to get a third-degree black belt in Aikido, Judo, and Karate, which in the 60s would have made him like Superman, right? But he goes to Japan, and he trains at the Kodokan Judo, and he trains with the JKA, Japan Karate Association. They're really good. They're skilled. And then he looks at Osensei and says, "What's he doing?" Because, to get better in karate or judo, you just train. And if you've got some talent, you get better. You just keep training. He looked at Osensei and said, "What's he doing? He's an old man. He's not taking break falls. All he seems to do, he chants. He does crazy things with a stick. He talks about gods and goddesses. He talks about things that don't make any sense to like the martial thing." Okay, so within that particular thing, it was that got Nado Sensei into Aikido. The other person that I was influenced when I first started was Robert Fraser Sensei. He's my home dojo teacher. They used to be very close and work together. And then Nado Sensei got really involved in spreading Aikido, and Fraser Sensei opened his own transpersonal university, psychology, or like PhD program. So they kind of, they were on different tracks past a certain point. But they both looked at Osensei, and they were non-Japanese. I said, "I can't fit this guy into any category." Fraser Sensei said, "Everything I've studied in psychology is about psychosis. It's about mental illness." And he looks at Osensei and says, "This is a guy who's really healthy. There's not a psychology to deal with this yet." Okay, we're talking in the 60s. Okay, now we talk about human potential, things like that. But the field of chimes is kind of like, what Deepak Chopra, he called it the field of infinite possibilities. Okay. In other words, this is what usually happens. It's just that, I run into the heaviness of the world, and it seems to kind of lock up whatever I'm doing. And this is, it's a little different. All right, a little different. Right? And what if, right here, no. Well, what I'm doing a little bit is I'm creating, vibrational patterns within the field where ki can move in, right? Now, the trick is, if there's a trick, because, the Nado Sensei says, "I want to do Aikido like you." Okay. No, Sensei said, "That's unusual. Nobody else seems to. Everybody else wants to do quote unquote their Aikido, And Fraser Sensei put it a little differently. He just said, he was working with the top teachers in Tokyo. He didn't do the karate and the judo exploration that Nado Sensei did. And they were teachers with incredibly powerful technique. And there were teachers with really strong ki flow. He said, but what Osensei did was different. Oh. It's almost like what would happen with those senseis, you would just fall down. You wouldn't feel them do anything. And Fraser Sensei said he thought it was fake. He thought he was being hypnotized or something. And then he began to realize that's what made Osensei Osensei. It wasn't his technique the strongest. It wasn't that his ki was more powerful than yours. That's stuff you get by training. So that again is what, the common ground between the Do Sensei and Frencher Sensei. They realized this, like, he's doing something really unique. He saw this as a blueprint to connect the world, humanity, solve a lot of the world's issues. He says, I'm religious. He was. But I'm not teaching religion. I'm trying to teach spiritual science. Okay? We get caught up in these dense bodies, and then our immense potential mentally, physically, spiritually gets caught up in this stupid dialogue and reaction to what's out there that makes us denser. So you have to play a game. You're right there. There's a vibration. But going back. Come on in. Come on. There's a loving feeling like a little kid. I'm tucking him in at night. Okay? I was feeling a little bit right there. What I said, this is about understanding the universe is connected to something called love. Not our human understanding of it, but it's a communal eye. Okay? And that can translate into our human dimension in a way that leaves us a bit more enlightened. We treat each other better. The world, is not torn apart by corporations making money while we ruin the environment. There's a whole bunch of stuff that he saw years ago. Okay? And we react to that world that we're in by thinking pretty much the same thoughts. Whether I love Donald Trump or hate him, I'm thinking about him. Okay? There's no, you see what I mean? It's in my head and I can't get him out. And the thing about what they both said about Do Sensei, what he was doing was radically different than the teacher. Do Sensei, Kodokan, Judo, great teachers, great technique. But I could get somewhere between where I am and where they are just by training it, because I got talent. Japan Karate Association, great teachers, great technique. I could get there. Maybe not exactly there, but I could be an upper dan. Those days, if you were a third-degree black belt, you were somebody. Now, third-degree black belt's kind of like, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. But we measure ourselves so low. And the point of it was that Do Sensei was doing this thing that nobody could figure out. And so when the Do Sensei actually said something like, I want to do Aikido like you. He goes, really? Nobody else does. And Frencher Sensei began to realize that was what made Do Sensei special. I attack Do Sensei, and all of a sudden I go flying, and I wouldn't even feel why I went flying. Everybody else could say the technique is stronger, the key is stronger. But with Do Sensei, it wasn't a question of it. He was working something totally different. He was a very transformative person. He was into things like gender equality. He told women, since you're the only ones practicing Aikido, the men are just too stupid. He told a group of women that Mary Heine Sensei was with in a sleepover at home, please train. After I'm gone, please train. Because you're the future, pretty much. He knew that. He looked at things as the economics, the basis of society, and he was right. Rich get richer, everybody else starts to kind of get caught up in this stupid, dense world that pushes back every time we go out. Okay? True democracy. Everybody's an equal beingness soul in the universe, equal to the universe in our own way. That's democracy. Okay? So everybody up. Easy. times. Tied in, tied out. Waveforms. All those go into the field of vibration, which draws the key in. Well, something was working from that vibrational field or something even way past it that I can't say. Oh. So, for example, here, I get too caught up in the denseness of throwing. No, I just want to create a wave shape or circular shape or spiral movement in that field of vibration, and chi will come in. Okay, that was to me, it's like, okay, before he doesn't feel, that was a little dense. But okay. Okay. So where are we? The movement. Now we can also from here, and so it becomes the forward. Well, whatever, doesn't really matter. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's pair up. Keep the throwing just up and back. Yeah. Oh. I want you to do kind of a little bit. For example, here, you're creating part of that vibration as well. You're creating part of that vibration. I mean, people that travel just say, for whatever reason, they just go flying. There's no particularity. One of the things, the lesson is non-attachment. Non-attachment doesn't mean you don't care. It's just that you don't care so tight in this heavy world that you block all your energy. It's it's more like the quantum universe. Where two particles that from a vast distance are having a relationship. You call it, right? It's like within that quantum field. I mean, Einstein never even figured this stuff out. I think he had it down. He wasn't drawing equations on the blackboard. He was demonstrating with detail. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean, people still don't. There's courage. You say this is well, who's the closest you see in this world? Oh, it's not that. Oh, Stephen Curry. Because he's dimensionally advanced. Not the biggest, not the strongest, but and he's old. In basketball terms, he's 40 years younger than I am, but he's old. Okay. You're right about it. It's almost like a sense of kind of have this field around him that was kind of in contact with a larger field of the universe. He had a pretty good model of this field work that could kind of like draw a kind of like a sympathetic, so that the key would pipeline for him in a way that they develop strong technique or strong key within their own system. But according to Beiju Sensei and the Do Sensei, they were and the Japanese were kind of interesting that way because they get too caught up in the culture. Oh, he's kami. Let me, right? And it's like I said, he says, look, I am spiritual. I am religious, but I'm not teaching religion. He's teaching what I call spiritual practice. All right? Yeah. Right? So the energy that is, so you don't, quantize it a little bit more, all right? That's all. There we go this way. Yeah. Because they would do cross technique that way. You know? They go this way, or you come with a yokel man, and all of a sudden, you're over here. Because you saw other possibilities, right? When you're there, it's not this concrete attack. Everything's a possibility before you're free. You get caught up in that, create this stupid heavy dimension where everything is good against it. Yeah. Okay. That's good. All right. So let's form the line over here so we do a little better with the video. Just where you are, just easy. Okay. Yeah. Non-attached doesn't mean you don't get it the way. I'm a parent. Okay, I'm a no. I hope you develop a right which guide you, but I want to not make choices. I'm going to be on part to a tough place. And, you know, it changed. You know, I was not too going through things pretty tough. Go out there about it. Yeah, bounce back. If I turn, I just can't figure it out. Just go through enough. Okay, cool. So that's important. You're easy with it. You don't do something like brain. What you getting? What I can't. You know, since they said it's about emptiness. What is emptiness? It's something. It's about these things. This is single. This is a heavy world. I'm true attack here. Not cool. So, and she gets right through that. Sort of okay. Then they just starts grabbing, but she starts to miss. Curry puts up these crazy shots. They go down. He's too. There's one 30 chance. It was like a haiku poem. the end. I mean, like poetry. Yeah, but that's that is having this to connect. Again, I am personally religious. He was. And things spiritual science. How about people getting this? What people control physical science? Was lots of money, big pocket, not it's just enough. This is the base economics law right here. 1% of the world controls 90% wealth. The rest of the circuit create political systems to try to stay up or get caught up in wearing intensive time. So, you know, if I like it, I mean, what you're being for point. How do we fix non-attachment? Non-attachment. There, Mary doesn't want a 20 impossible shot, but if he's too, he's tight. It's too. I know if we're too in, we'll stumble. And if we're on top of then you know, we're probably stupid liberal. That's a trick. You won't and in the devil. You know, okay. Bottom line, it was small. You up in the morning, perfect, cool. Is your dialogue that creating in this world. Then she grabbed, gets around. Okay. Two movements. One, we go this. So I move, straight to support. But I'm standing in the circle, this talk, you see the pattern of centric circles, spiral pattern. With this hand touches. Good. And you start do the same thing, but do this. Cross people go catch you. Start of front. Then circle, circle. Okay. Movements. Spiral pattern. Spiral. Same time. Setting up another down spot. Up, right, and six. Or get to it. And up or to it. So you were exploring that. And you still know what you want. Attach. Okay. Things like vibration, patterns of energy, center, circle, center. Your very key is partners. For real. Right. A lot of things to learn. Oh, okay. Look, we're so confident that I'm off my spirit into my spirit. You get to feel the shot stage. Again, right? Look, this moving on pretty vibration. Doing this is what they kind of got the Japanese shop. Oh, conversation, is like culture. We throw money at and pray for things. Yeah. And he's not uh, your vibration have of course, say, how do I do the movement? And you start to move, you start to get a little bit of feel where it's plus your motion, even your brain will create then see the things you put it out there. This vibration. All of it is when I grab, this is for you to feel my weight. Just do this. Oh, non-attachment. I will encourage you, please go, please. Sometimes, sometimes it goes, okay, that was the thing. Well, no, it's to be cool, cool. It's not, it's just the well-executed vibration. Plus, nobody still courage. Come on, so, I miss, yeah, I screwed up, but I'm screwed, right? So, let's start positive. Remember, number 10 doesn't mean it's don't care. You do, you don't get your own way. I hear you. So, vibration, I'll do that. Do I want a thing? Here's what I would do. If it's that way, of course, I'm creating that having this visual law that when I get thoughts of the world for all this position that world of look at this beautiful world of heaven and earth that we all have. That's why I thought it was interesting. When it says, oh, you You don't want to. Good. They're like quarter pound Japan garages. They're good. Really good. But I did it was different. Listen, people, we out there, not a task. We all together, people not just with the teamwork, right? Very good. Oh, that's good. And the other thing he told me, those things, it's so easy, but I can't give it to you. I'm gonna try to figure it out. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no. One pattern flows into the other. Oh, I follow. And basically vibrational field. There's a stillness to motion, stillness to motion. There's still silence within that vibration. Otherwise, it's just noise. Yeah, if you're here, the center is quiet. And when the center is quiet, your imagination, you imagine, feel that field of shine. And I'm not so worried about him. I'm just, gonna go create within that field. Oh. Come on. Yeah, it's like just take a jazz solo. That feeling over your easy. That's hard. So that's why he told me those things. It's so easy, but I can't give it to you. There's so many things out there that catch our attention. You've got to sort of realize the importance of a non-attack. You're in that field. It takes a lot of guts to just say, I'm going to be easy here. Right? And Frederick simply said, yeah, Jack, I thought the whole thing was fake for a while because, I attacked him, I'll go flying. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel like I was thrown. It's just all of a sudden. And he was the only one. I mean, everybody else could feel better technique or more key or something like that. Well, those days, what did he do? Huh? Yeah. Oh. It was still 2 attacks. Easy. I know, that starts out good, then you can't see the elbow. That's attachment. Easy. Oh. Right? That's hard. I want to so passionately that I stumble over my own feet. Easy. That's so easy. Easy. We'd be healthier. We'd see things more in the light of the way that things are. Right? That's hard. That is really hard. Non-attachment is one of the hardest things to develop. I mean, basically, the finer dimensions are there already. Come on. They're already there. So we're so attached to this mess that we won't let go. That's why I thought, when they told me those things, it was just, it's so easy, but I can't give it to you. We want to do my house, we don't know what else things do. After a while, you're so attached to the form of the art that you don't get, he was trying to teach it. All right. The son was a lot smarter. Form, length. Much better business model. In a lot of ways, I'm thankful that his son did that. Because, he's the point where, on the other hand, a lot of what Osenko was trying to do. Yeah. Easy. Over here. Yeah. Right? I'm already gone. I'm just caught up in somebody's bigger, better than I am out there. Easy. Easy is non-attachment. No, those sense they like that word. I like the non-attachment too. You know, yeah, I don't tell me. Easy. That's right. That's pretty cool. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Oh, good. Yeah, one of the, I was going to say catchphrases. I'm sure it's probably deeper than I'm trying to explain it, but he talks about the floating bridge of heaven. Really used to piss people off, from what I gather. All right. Floating bridge of heaven. I came here to learn a martial art. Why is he talking about a mythical bridge in the Japanese myths of creation? Well, for one thing, if you're there to learn from Sensei, and he's talking about the floating bridge, you're not attached to your idea of what martial arts and Aikido is. Right? No, instead, Aikido, what he said was the first thing. And he also said, if there's nothing else you ever do, you must learn to stand on that bridge. And in that way, you know, he may have been describing non-attachment. There's fire, there's water. You're attached to either of them, you're done. There's heaven, there's earth. You're attached to one or the other, they're done. You're non-attached. Heaven and earth talk and vibe back and forth. Water and fire talk and vibe back and forth. And you're cool. Now, it's probably much more than that. I don't know that this is a great description, but one of the things, for example, right, about the floating bridge of heaven is that all of a sudden things just if all of us stood there, we'd treat each other better. We recognize who we truly were, right? And sometimes we get too caught up in the out there, we even get good at it. Okay? If I was reincarnate, what would my redirective be? Maybe it'd be something like become a billionaire. I obviously didn't think that, so you know, But to some degree, yeah, I mean, some people come in with that in mind and they actually achieve it. You want power? Get wealth and influence. Does it make the world better? Not really. Too attached. So part of this is to really care about what you're doing. Not be sloppy. It's very easy to just be very, very out of it. I don't care about that stuff. Yeah, the problem is, you know, you may care about something so passionately that you get in your own way. So, you know, yeah, I care about it so much. And so maybe one of the things about you stand up for a second, stretch the legs. The floating bridge of heaven is about non-attachment. Pure and simple. Am I attached to heaven? Am I attached to earth? They both exist. They're both different dimensions. They exist right here, right now. And they, ideally, they talk. A certain portion of that field of wind chimes that vibes heaven. There's a certain portion of that wind chime field that vibes earth. And there's a certain portion of that wind chime field that vibes fire, and a certain portion of it vibes water. Standing there in that field is infinite potential to some level. We're infinite. Well, just I said it, where everybody has a universe inside them. But he also said, he or she, as the secret life, has a universe inside them, and say, I am the universe. Okay? Because there's a sense of something inside, but there's that proper way of being non-attached where you become that. That's kind of our mission, so to speak. Okay? Other ways to phrase it. But if I'm too attached to it, okay, so yes, I want to do the technique great out there. So too easy. Just easy. Easy is non-attachment. I mean, I think of those crazy curry shots where they go straight up and you think, no chance, straight down. And again, I begin to realize, that's art. It's not a stupid jock experience. Oh, good, 19 wins. It's like, not quite O-sensei, but, but again, the person that I would say in my particular exploration of the world that is the closest to O-sensei is that kid. And he's old now. But he understands dimensionality to some degree. And he understands non-attachment. He's probably the best conditioned guy in the league, so it's not like wishful thinking. But he's able to let go. To play at that level. I mean, if you look at the Celtics, they're bitter. They're younger, which the league likes. They like young guys that can prep. They're more athletic. The Warriors are a bunch of old guys, but what do they have? They have that proper blend of preparation and non-attachment. Let it unfold. Okay? And so if we can follow the Stephen Curry model, okay, may go in or not. Well, let me see if it's going to go in. Oh, yeah! Woo! Sorry about that one. Okay? Non-attached. Okay? Non-attached. Okay, non-attached. Okay. Follow the pattern here. Position. See, this has to be right. The placement here has to be right. But I'm too attached to it. Oh, the earth is calling her. Yeah. Oh. Heaven and earth kind of say hi to each other right there. Okay? Let's try that, the Tenkan blend to the Nikyo Ura. Okay? Different partner. Yeah. One of the things about the neat bill, okay, probably the heavy dense world. The earth has a strong. Heavy dense world, the earth has a strong. Now, if you test to this, I cancel that out. You see what I mean? One of the songs, the earth wants to embrace us all. We come out of the earth physically. Right? And you know, one of the things about the non-attachment is to get out of our own way, the universe reveals itself in a better way. You see? We're still here to suffer because we were bad in a past life. Yes, maybe. On the other hand, you know, don't create guilt and negativity. Okay, right? That's not I'm too attached to my crappy past. Yeah, that's non-attachment. Yeah, it'll let them mistake. Easy. All right. So you know that placement right here. This is where, oh yeah, I go back in that dense world. So easy, easy. See those lower vibes are tinkle a little bit. They're not bomb. So we miss it sometimes. We want the drum noise. Right about here. The earth wants to embrace us both. Right? You're just a little closer to it. You're feeling the embrace of it a little quicker than I am. But I have to be so much connected to it and get out of the way for the earth to make its statement with us. So when you know your thinking changes, because you know the dense thinker up here goes out there and wants results, wants to fail so they can get negative thoughts about itself, and it's just a stupid pattern. And then we give control to the 1% that owns over 90% of the world, right? You know, so from here, then there's things between here and there. There's a number of things that happen. In that non-attachment, it's just possibility. And in that dense world my mind creates, everything's a certainty. I'm certain to fail. Yeah, got it. It's all rigged. Oh. But here we're in the possibility. Okay? And we might as well give harmony, the Aikido lesson, a chance to win. Right? We're not going to do that unless we non-attach. Right? A lot of mental illness is because you're too attached to some negative parts of ourselves. We just keep on playing those tapes again and again, and it keeps creating the same collision, you know? And again, what Robert Fraser said was interesting. He said that every single thing he studied, he was a PhD in Harvard University doing postdoctoral study, and he meets those and says, there's not a psychology right now to study this guy because everything I've studied is about mental illness, and he is not mentally ill. He exuded something. Hell. Okay. 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 Now, it's still right here. And so if we go back to this. Now, here, I can't have my feet crossed. Okay, I'm going to position on this shoulder, foot's there. I get all this, and it's frustrating. The earth has kind of a tinkle to it. Huh? Use it. Stretch with it. Stretch with it. On your tummy. Yeah, don't hit anything. I mean, paradoxically, this was designed facing somebody with samurai armor. Because, you're wearing armor. But the vibe goes through that. You should feel a shortcut here. Okay, now right here, he could hit his face, land on the shoulder, so puts his hand down, other hand. He stretches it out on his tummy. He just has to get his legs out so his wrist doesn't take anything more. And then there's a martial function to it. Okay, now, for example, here, you're coming in this direction. Grab it. Good. Now I'm going to put it on my right shoulder, my right foot is there. Okay, so this time, we'll pivot. Turn. Good. Now you're going to step back. Now you're going to step back once more so that your position is going to be this shoulder is that foot. Okay, good. Non-attached. Let go. Oh, something happens right there. There's a little tinkle in that field. Non-attach some more. Oh, bigger tinkle. Non-attach some more. Now you're thinking. Means all of a sudden you're attaching. Okay, that's better. Deeper wave. Okay. Right. Come down here, then should happen down here. A little tinkle in that field. Bigger tinkle. Bigger tinkle. I'm young Stephen Curry. I start to make it from 15 feet. That's good. I start to make it from 18 feet. That's good. I start to make it from 20 feet. That's what. All of a sudden, I'm trying to hit from 25 feet. Apparently as a kid, he could shoot from distance, but he was small, so he had to shoot this way, right? And so his father says, if you really want to play basketball, I'm an all-time great shooter. I'm going to have to show you a higher release. But what was really interesting about it, because he was throwing the ball up from here because he was so small, but it was going in from some vast distance, right? And so his father said, you got to shoot up here. And one day I was watching him warm up, and he was kind of doing his old flip shot. And all he did was, instead of going like this, like that, the slip shot, he just started slipping. He doesn't have a high release, but it's quick. And it starts out at a arc here, so it's, and most of the time he doesn't even jump. That shot, that he jumps to get the lift to make those long shots. He's not a high flyer, right? And so, there's a point where right there, I mean, he had a dimensional field. Okay. 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet, 25 feet. What do? You put the time in. You can't just meditate on it, unfortunately. Although sometimes you get really good and you can't make it in the game, you got to non-attach. You got all the tools. You just are too tense. Okay. Well, so one of the things here, if you're going to position this side, put that. That foot is forward. Now, what do? All of a sudden, we're out here trying to put our weight here. Relax. Okay, good. There's a natural pull the earth has anyway, but it's like you get a tinkle down here. All right. Oh, now, bigger tinkle doesn't mean you get more attached. You do not attach. Oh, how do I get? Like, I need to develop stronger T. Yeah. Well, I need to non-attach some more. non-attached, non-attached, clear, open. Okay. And of course, the trick is, you may really believe in something or want something passionately. That's the fire. If you can burn yourself out, there's water, there's non-attachment. If I get it, fine. I hope I do. Easy. Right? Right? Okay. Let's all line up. Let's all line up. I mean, the regular way. Okay. We're gonna. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So the lesson, it's a hard one to practice, by the way. It's good to want things really passionately. It's kind of like the fire. But you can burn yourself out. But attachment is kind of like the water. And those sensei, talked about, the blending of fire or water and fire and water. Without the non-attachment to balance out the passion, there's an imbalance. The world is way too fire right now. And you don't want the water to be stagnant. There's a balance. It's good to want things really passionately. And the fire kind of gets me up here and out there, so the water. Okay. So then energies move. That creates kind of like the field of time, so to speak. So we can. And then a lot of it is like, since he was a martial artist, so it was life and death for him when he was younger. But there's an element where sometimes we play that. But a lot of this is about exploration. You explore. You're exploring yourself. So it becomes kind of like a game, things that you passionately care about, you work at. But you also are smart enough to non-attach, to allow the key to come into what you're doing. And that's something that we miss. Okay? That's why, like Frederick said, other teachers have really strong key. But when you work with those sensors, what was that? What was that? Whoa, what was that? It wasn't better technique. It wasn't stronger key. It was like, he was doing something that the physicists might say was a unified field theory. He didn't win a Nobel Prize, obviously, but his equations were his movements. Okay? If you watch him, he's so himself. And ultimately, when we non-attach, instead I want that out there, we start to feel ourselves. And so the key comes in, but we also are increasingly there, feeling ourselves more fully. And then the technique comes out of that. Okay, that's hard. Because I'm like anybody else. I curry shoes, please go in. He doesn't do that. I'm sure he wants it to go in more than I do, right? But it's like he's not attached. I'm gonna turn my back, swish. End of the game 3. That's not attachment. I mean, the other team hates it, but on the other hand, it's not about having your team win, but the people that are dimensionally finer understand this. Okay? So, the non-attachment, in other words, to really have your center, you have to let go. You have to non-attach to the center. To really have a flow sense to yourself, you have to non-attach to it. Okay? Okay, thank you very much. Stand up, stretch. Gotta make sure this gets put away. Okay, David, before I walk off with this,
Okay, thank you.
you didn't go to class today.